कुञ्ज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। जय गुरुदेव, जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। थैंक यू माता जी। हरे कृष्णा।
थैंक यू माता जी। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण माता, धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी। कैन वी स्टार्ट प्रभु जी?
Yeah, sure. I'm ready. No problem. Let me. Okay. If my audio is okay?
यस प्रभु जी।
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you. नमः शुभदाय कृष्ण भूतले श्रीमते संकर्षणास्कते नमः प्रपादने प्रभृतवात्मने गौदेशु कासातम भक्तिवर्षिणे नमः शुभदाय कृष्ण भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नमिने नमस्ते सारस्वत देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यादि पाश्चात्य देशितायने श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. Today is a wonderful, auspicious day for us that we got this opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from the pages as written by Srila Vyasadeva and narrated by Srila Sukadeva Goswami. And by the mercy of Parikshit Maharaj, he inquired, and of course Suta Goswami and Shaunaka Rishi, and they also narrated for us. And the greatest blessings we have is this Srila Prabhupada. He translated that into English so that we can easily understand. Sanskrit we may or may not understand, but English nowadays is common language. So Srila Prabhupada tirelessly, he has translated that for us, and especially today, the Canto 5, Chapter 2. So with the mercy and blessings of Guru Parampara, Gurudev Srila Prabhupada Panchatattva, here we have Melbourne Radha Vallabh. Their mercy, we begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are covering Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5. Chapter 2. Yes, Chapter 2. I always go back to Chapter 5, but today is Chapter 2 and verses 5 to 8. Jai Radha Mother Ki Jai. So Canto 5 is called the creative impetus. Of course, so many things we will learn about the whole creation, especially the real construction, how the whole universe is constructed. Before that, Priyavata Maharaj, it started with that, his lineage, and today is the second chapter. So that's Agnitra. So chapter 2, the activities of Maharaj Agnitra, and verses 5 to 8. I believe you have already covered the previous. So let us begin. The verses is a bit tricky in the sense pronunciation. So rather we would just do the translation reading. Okay, let me just bring it here, translation. I should have put it here on the top for the first one. We will read one by one. So I start with the fifth one. I think you can still see my screen. Sharing the screen is, yeah, I think it's visible. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah. Prabhu ji, no, we can see the PPT, Prabhu ji, but
Yeah,
not
the PPT. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
So now the verse, the translation has come up, verse 5. So if anyone like to read, please.
Yeah, Vrishabhanu Mata ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Mataji, please scroll it.
Mataji, this is the paragraph you have to read, Mataji.
As Purvachiti was repassed by on the road in a very beautiful style and mood of her own. The pleasing ornament on her ankles tinkled with her every step. Although Prince Agnitra was controlling his senses, practicing yoga with half open eyes, he could see her with his lotus like eyes, and when he heard the sweet tinkling of her bangles, he opened his eyes slightly more and could see that she was just nearby. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So before we go into the discussion, I just offer our prayer. Om Ajnanam Tivanantasya Gnananjana Shalaka Chakshrumitam Yena Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Hyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamaccha Shri Rupam Sagjatam Sagana Raghunathan Tam Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijanatsaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamaccha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupascha Kripa Sindhu Vaivasha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shwasandi Gaura Bhaktanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna. Welcome those who have joined just now. Welcome again. So this is very interesting that what we are going to hear. Don't get offended. Rather, just consider this as a learning for all of us. What we are going to hear, you might have already read or heard, but then repetition is not a problem. We just repeat again and again, and that's the whole life, is repeating the glories of Krishna. The whole eternity is like that. So we will just repeat this as a learning experience rather than saying that, oh, what Agnidra is doing. Rather, he is sharing his own life realizations with us so that we can learn something from this episode or this 5 verses or 3 verses, 5 to 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 verses. So let us begin. We already read the translation. I read it again just so that we go to that background, etc. So here the verse is talking about Purvachiti is passing by. She is passing by with her beautiful style and mood and ornaments, ornaments on the ankles are tinkling. And then at the same time that King Agnitra, he was meditating, or he was trying to meditate with half open eyes. And then he heard, and then he opened his eyes slightly more, and then we will see what happened after that. So let us continue. Before we begin, let us just go through the background, some background check, what happened previously. Some of you might have joined now, not previously, like myself, when I prepared. So in chapter Canto 5, chapter 2, we are talking about Agnitra. So who is Agnitra? Agnitra is, of course, we understand is the king, but then how he has appeared, whose son he is. So this is how the whole lineage is coming up. So of course, everything started with Lord Vishnu or Krishna, right? And then we have Brahmaji, and then Brahmaji, he has many different sons and daughters from different parts of his body. from his mind, from his thoughts, from his heart, from his sights, etc. So one of them is Marichi. He's a great sage, Marichi. And then from him, Kashyapa. And from Kashyapa, Vivashwan. And then Vivashvat Manu. Vivashwan means the sun god. And then from that, Vivashvat Manu. And then Vivashvat Manu had son Priyavata. And Priyavata Maharaj had son Agnitra. So what we are discussing about Agnitra, this is the lineage. So how it happened is, like, the context is previously, and of course nowadays also, normally a married couple, they would desire children. And specifically, if you see the way the Vedas are designed, especially it's mentioned that sons, they will do the different ceremonies, especially the last Agnida. So, and it is said that if you want to reach to heavenly planets, then you have to do, like, you have to have a son, and then they have to do that Pindadan, Agnida, and then by that oblations you will reach the higher lobe. So similarly, just like that, Priyavata Maharaj also desired initially that he renounced. Then he renounced, but later he was called by Brahmaji. And then the matter was settled that, okay, Priyavata Maharaj would accept the kingdom. And then he accepted. And after some time, he desired, or he understood, or he realized, what is this? I had dedicated my life before, and now I am engrossed in these worldly affairs. So now my later life, my life is coming to end. Now I want to dedicate my life to Krishna, in thoughts of Krishna, meditating on Krishna. So he decided to renounce and dedicate fully, focusing on Krishna. So to achieve the perfection, and this is given in Canto 5, Chapter 1, like a previous chapter, verses 36 to 38, right? I believe these hands are raised, that's for the reading, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. So then in this verse 38, I mentioned, even though it's as a background, but I mentioned that is written what Priyavata Maharaj realized, and Srila Prabhupada has nicely put that by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maharaj Priyavata reawakened to his senses. So within that also, if we are coming to our senses, if we are feeling that this material world is no more, is not my home anymore, I want to, give up all this. Rather, I want to attain that spiritual, blissful life. That realization or that feeling or that understanding is also mercy of Krishna. And that's how he has created this material world, that one day we'll get so frustrated that we'll come to that point that, yes, I want to find some permanent solution. So that's what it happened with Maharaj Priyavata. Then he divided all his earthly possessions among his obedient sons. He gave up everything, including his wife, with whom he had enjoyed so much sense gratification, his great and opulent kingdom, and he completely renounced all attachment. I mean, consider this. Is it easy to do that? Even if we have a second-hand car sitting in our garage, we are hardly using, it's getting junk, still we will feel like, oh no, it's precious, I can't give it up. Something is rotten, still we can't give it up. But here Priyavata Maharaj is giving up kingdom, opulence, wife, and all the possessions, followers, especially followers. To give up followers is a big thing. Someone who is taking your command, someone is like wife and the followers, the ministers, etc. Not artificially, but willingly. They are following your command. Very hard to give them up. His heart, having been cleansed, become a place of pastimes for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, he was able to return to the path of Krishna consciousness. Return to the path. Before he was, and now he is returning. the spiritual life, and resume the position he had attained by the grace of great Saint Narada. And this is where Agnidra comes in, because then Priyata Maharaj, he desired that, okay, now he will give the whole kingdom. And what kingdom? So we'll see now. So Priyata Maharaj divided this place, and that place he was ruling 9 islands or 9 khanda of whole Jambudvip. And then he had 9 sons. So he divided a different part. So then Agnitra, he became the ruler of Jambudvip. This is like a whole area, like a whole earthly planet. And then Agnitra, because he was the first son, so he became the ruler of Jambudvip. And what Jambudvip is, we will see in the 5th canto. It will come later. So this is how the whole Jambudvip look like. So this, where we are living, is called planet Earth. But then this planet Earth, yes, it's round, but then it's attached to the earthly planet, the flat planet, Bhumandala. It's called Bhumandala. And this whole big mass of land is there, which is like circle, covering the whole, almost the whole universe, like the whole universe, diagonally, as a thick disk. So this area is divided into different islands and the oceans, and the center one is Jambudvip, as is shown here, right? And within that Jambudvip, the center figure is Meru, Mount Meru or Sumeru. Sumeru Parvat is there. So he became the ruler of this whole area, Jambudvip, and we are here in the south part. How can I show? Pointer somewhere here. We are here, right? Then, okay, let's go. This is how it looks from the top. There are different areas like made up of mountains. The rivers are flowing, just like a Ganga Devi, how Ganga is appearing. So Ganga Mata, she appears on the top of this Sumeru, and then 4 streams come down, and then they flow through this different mountain range, and finally reaches here in Ganga. Okay, so he became the ruler of this whole area, Jambudvip. Then down the line, he also desired a son. He also desired. Now he wanted to, especially he wanted to go to Pitraloka or higher up. So then he desired a son, because so that son can do this and can take care of this whole Jambudvip. So for that he started. Okay, the whole thing is coming up. Okay, I should have changed. Anyway, that's okay. Mandara mountain. So what he did, he went to the Mandara mountain to practice austerity. In the cave, he went and then he started performing austerity. What was the reason? He performed the austerity to get a son. So the question will come that why not just have a union with opposite sex? Why bother about doing the austerity, especially nowadays? They just mingle at the age of 15, 16, 13 in the schools, universities. They just mingle. They have union. And recently, last week, I read here in Australia somewhere. I forgot. Was it Victoria? Maybe it was near some suburb in Melbourne, that they dumped the baby just in the garden. Literally, the living baby, they just dump it as if it's like a, what do you call, a non-eatable item, like we throw the food sometimes after some eating, and then we just throw it away. We don't do it, devotees don't do it, but people do it, right? So they found a baby. So why not just have a union and have a son or daughter? But why austerity is required? Austerity is required because if you want to If you want to produce a nice saintly character, if you want to bring that soul, nice saintly soul, then you need to prepare yourself. You need to prepare yourself with the virtue of austerity and dan. You have to give so much charity. Even after the son or daughter takes birth, you should do so much charity, just like Vasudevji did, when Krishna appeared. So, and this is not just ordinary one instance. This is how it's happening throughout the whole Vedic system. That we have previous example that Vaivashvat Manu, he also did the tapasya for 10 sons. And then first son was Ikshvaku, the eldest one, the Raghuvansh. Then Prajapati Daksh, he also did. And then later his sons also did the same. And then Queen Prachina Bahari, he also did 10 sons. And then this Pracheta, they also went out. They did the tapasya, right? Then King Chitraketu, he also did austerity to please Angira Rishi. And then, of course, the famous example, we have Vasudeva and Devaki. They did so much great austerity to have Krishna as their son. And of course, so many examples. We have Kapila, Lord Kapila appeared to Kadamuni and Mother Devahuti, right? So Kadamuni also performed very nice austerity to please Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu, he came and he said, yes, I have arranged a suitable wife for you, and then you will have a nice son, that is me. Right? So austerity is required, and that's why we have in our system, we have this following frugality principles, and then chanting Hare Krishna, and then taking the blessings of Guru and Vaishnavas, and then beget a child, right? After chanting 15 rounds. That's for us. And then he worshipped whom? He worshipped Brahmaji. Interestingly, the question will come that how come he worshipped Brahma, whereas his father Priyavrata, he worshipped Lord Vishnu or Krishna. So that's the nature. Each individual person, it's not necessary that we are becoming pure devotees, so then our dependence will also take up. It's not necessary. It's up to the individual soul when and how he wants to take up Krishna consciousness. Nobody can force. And nobody should force. We can guide, but ultimately that individual soul has some desire, he will worship. And of course, later on, Agnidra realized and then he will change. Actually, he went to the Pitruloka where Purvachitti was. And that's what is written in Bhagavatam. But for now, he worshipped Brahmaji. And for what purpose? He wanted a son. So that means he wanted a nice wife. So then Brahmaji sent whom? Brahmaji sent Purvachitti. Now who is Purvachitti? Purva. Purva means first. And Chitti means or Chitta. Chitta means thoughts or mind. When we say mind means our thoughts, our consciousness, Chetana, right? So looks like we have 6 apsaras themselves, celestial girls, apsaras. And Purvachitti is one of them, or the foremost one, because that's how the name suggests, right? Now we see the background about Purvachitti. Who is Purvachitti? So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he says to Uddhava, what he says? That I am Purvachitti among the heavenly apsaras. I mean, this is interesting. The description we are going to hear, what we heard, 5th one, and then 6, 7, 8 verses, the description we are going to hear, it's related. Krishna says, and why Krishna says this? Because he says, through Bhagavad Gita as well, he says the opulence of Supreme, right? He says, I am this, I am this. But why he's saying this? He is saying this because the best thing in the world, it represents him. Right? The best, the beautiful, the most attractive, the most powerful, the most opulent, the most strength, whoever is displaying that, consider that that's the pregnant or that's the part of Krishna's opulence. So Krishna is represented that way. So here, Purvachitti, Krishna says, I am that Purvachitti in the Apsaras. And that means just consider how beautiful she must, how beautiful she must be. And that's what the description is coming the next. So then Brahmaji understood desire and he sent Purvachitti to there. And Prabhupada writes, interestingly, that in the verse it's mentioned Brahmaji as Bhagavan. Why? Because he is first living entity, and not only that, but he is also a devotee. He is a pure devotee. He had the association or the darshan of Lord, and that means he is so strongly devoted to Krishna that Krishna from within he reveals himself, as well as he reveals so many other things. Just like here, it is said that Krishna revealed to Brahmaji that, okay, sent her. Because Brahmaji is so related. And that's why it's mentioned as Bhagwan. Just like Bhagwan understands each and every, he's seated in our heart. Sarvasya chaham hridisya mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha. He's sitting in our heart, every living entity, even the atom. He knows all our desires. Similarly, Brahmaji also understood the desire of Agnidra, even while sitting so far away from him. And that's why he sent. He didn't appear in front of him. Rather, he knows. So he directly did that task. First, he didn't appear that, okay, I will appear in front of him. Then I'll say, okay, no, I will send you this girl. No, he did the main, whatever the object he's looking for, he gave directly. He said, okay, Apsara, Purvachitti, come here and go to this king's place. So then it happened. Now Purvachitti reached the hermitage of Agnidra when he was performing the austerity and meditation. And in between, the verse 4 is talking about the beauty, the scenic explanation or description is given about the hermitage, the area, how beautiful that area was. It was very green with so much beautiful birds chirping, and then so nice sounds coming. The lake is there, the river, the clear water is there, and peacocks and so many other birds are there. They are singing so nicely. In that environment, in that forest environment, this Agnidra was performing austerity. So from that perspective also, this is very beautiful and is conducive. If someone is looking for sense gratification, this is very conducive environment from other perspective, if we see. And that's what happened in that case of, isn't it, Kadama Muni and Devahuti, right? Was it that? Yeah. So because she performed so much austerity that she was so thin and lean and like day and night. But at the same time, after many years, she desired son. So then when Kadama Muni, yes, you have sung so nicely, and he saw, oh my God, what a like horrible situation you have, like your body is so thin. And then by his mystic power, he created mansion. And then along with her, he went around all the whole universe, different gardens, and there is a description wherever they went. And that he created that Viman or the Yantra that would accommodate the whole city, like all the paraphernalia, required paraphernalia are there. And then women he created by his mystic power. He brought these beautiful girls serving his wife, nicely dressing and then bathing and feeding, etc. And then they became so powerful from that perspective. So that is also required. That is also required from that perspective. These natural places are required. It will give us the positive vibes, and sometimes even for this purpose is required. So coming to that further, now what happened is, now that Purvachitti is reached to this hermitage, so let us see what happened then. So what happened is Agnidra was performing the yoga practice, as we see in the verse 5. He was meditating with half closed eyes like this. And then he was performing the meditation for what purpose? To get a son. To get a son. So here is Prabhupada writes, let me see 1 minute. Prabhupada writes, what writes Prabhupada? Prabhupada writes that he was keeping the eyes half open so that he is not sleeping. And that's what Krishna has mentioned as well in the Bhagavad Gita as well, that we should keep our eyes half open while performing the yoga. And that's written there. Sampreksha Nashikagram, keeping their eyes half open. And he was meditating. The actual purpose of meditation is meditating on Supreme. But here, in his case, something happened. What happened? He heard the ankles, like the ornaments on his on her ankle, tinkling, making some sound. So then he opened his eyes little further. And then what happened is, as soon as he heard that, then he wanted to see, and then he wanted to touch, and then he wanted to experience the same object, what is now going on in his thoughts. And what is that? Similar thing happened in, if you see, in the case of Agni. So when Satadruti was getting married, then what happened? All the great demons, demigods, and different sages, so many other Nagaloka, so many other people, they were assembled in that marriage ceremony, assembly. But then they were all captivated by twinkling of her ankle bells. So that sound, hearing is very, very attractive. So depends on what we want to hear. We want to hear Krishna, Hare Krishna, Mahamantra, or we want to hear something else while we are performing our devotional service or yoga practice. We are also doing this Bhakti Yoga. This is Bhakti Yoga, right? So what is the real purpose of yoga and how it is practiced? This is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. If someone wants to read the first one, 6, 13, 14. Okay, Shilpa Mata. I see 2 hands up.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Should I read right from the beginning, Prabhu?
Yeah, the one should hold that one, please.
Okay, Hare Krishna. What is the real purpose of yoga and how it is practiced? One should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Bhagavad Gita 6.13 and 14.
Thank
Thus
you.
practice Hare Krishna.
Okay, so somebody else can read, please. Now I see 2 more hands, so whoever wants to read.
Archana, Sudha Mataji, you can read. After
Thus
that,
practicing
Sumangala
constant,
Mataji.
thus
Hare Krishna.
practicing constant
Thus-
control of the body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalist, his mind, regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by celestial of material existence.
Yeah,
By
so
cessation of material existence, BG 16.15. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
thank you. So this is how the yoga is practiced, and this is the purpose or the goal
You are
of.
muted, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we can hear Mataji.
No, we can
Prabhuji
hear, we
is
can hear.
audible.
Yeah. So this is the purpose of yoga, that we focus our intelligence, our mind, and our senses on Krishna so that we can go back home, back to Godhead. No other purpose should be there. No other purpose. We don't want any other purpose. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundari. Our focus. Yes, I may be attracted to all these sense gratification activities right now. That's okay, because that's how the conditioned nature is. But the decision or the desire should be that now I want to come out. I don't want to go further, just like Priyavata Maharaj realized. He didn't want to go further. Rather, he said, okay, I have enough. I had so much nice gratification. It's enough now. And whereas here we will see that Agnidra is doing opposite. He is going further into this. And we will see this now. Okay, let us move. So if you go through the purport, then you will see, we will understand many different things. The first thing is control. Here the aspect was control. He was meditating, trying to control his senses. So we will see that we have two aspects. For the senses, we have control aspect and then we have purifying aspect. So one is control senses and the other one is purified senses. So these other yoga practices like Ashtanga yoga and other yogas, they are trying to do the control senses. Our senses will become controlled but not purified. Whereas when one is engaged in bhakti yoga, the senses will become purified. Purified. There is a huge difference. The control senses can come out from the control at any time. Given that impetus, the situation, here the situation is matching. That's why the description is given. So nice, beautiful sound is going on, pleasing environment is there, lake is there, forest is there, no one is going to see. And all of a sudden, this beautiful girl walks in. And similar situation may be at the temple as well when we go for the services. So because our temples are like heavenly, Prabhupada had said, even for Melbourne, you are not living in Melbourne, you are living in a Vaikuntha, right? The Vaikuntha atmosphere are there in the ISKCON temples all around the world. Prabhupada's mercy, right? Parampara's mercy. So we may find ourselves in this situation that everything is suitable. So which way we want to go? We want to control or we want to purify? We are here for purification or we are here for just controlling and letting that control loose at some time, and then we go back again on the track. No, that's something we have to understand. And the example is given is great rishis like Vishwamitra and then Saubhari Muni versus we have Haridas Thakur and Ramanand Rai. So maybe we won't go in detail, or we can go Saubhari Muni just by looking at fish union. After many, it says 80,000 years, he was doing the austerity in Yamuna. But he saw the fishes engage in union and then he came out. He said, now I want to get married. So he demanded that king, okay, I want to marry your 50 daughters. King was hesitant that, oh, you look like very old. How can I give my, but somehow he managed. Vishwamitra, he also heard that twinkling of the ankle, that the ornaments, and then he lost Menka. He lost with Menka, and then we have the Shakuntala, right? The daughter. Whereas Haridas Thakur, the prostitute, it says Maya personified. Consider that. She appeared beautiful in a beautiful, charming way, but he maintained. Rather, he made, not only maintain, he made her pure devotee. That's the power of a pure devotee. That's the power of a devotee. Even we can say chanting Hare Krishna, because the pure or the force is coming from Hare Krishna, right? So if we are focused on Hare Krishna, that power will come. And Ramananda Rai was, he was bathing young girls. It said, Lord Chaitanya said, Ramananda Rai is one of the topmost devotee. Why? Because for that drama performance, he was bathing young girls naked. You know, that time is different. Now we can't trust like this. We shouldn't trust like this. We can't send our girls, our daughters like this way, because the time is different. But at least during that time, Ramananda Rai was bathing them, and said he was bathing them naked. Still, he was not agitated. He was not agitated. And the senses are compared with snakes, right? The senses are compared with snakes. So here it is said that we have Madari, a snake charmer, versus a pure devotee. So the snake charmer keeps the snake in that basket, After some time it will open, come out. And sometimes there is a accident. But the pure devotee, he dances on the snake, like a Krishna. Krishna dance on the heads of Kaliya, a snake, right? Representative. Lord Shiva, he used the snake around his neck. Yeah, Lord Shiva is a pure devotee, topmost Vaishnava. So he used the snake in service. Like we had that great churning. So this is the difference between control senses and purified senses. So here, Prabhupada writes very nicely. Devotees, therefore, may see hundreds and thousands of beautiful women with fascinating bodily or movements and gesture, but not be allured, whereas such women would make ordinary yogis fall. So we should consider where we are sitting, which way we want to move, in what direction. Okay, let us read the 6th verse translation. Somebody, please.
Hare Krishna. Sudha Mataji, can you read?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The Like a honeybee, the Apsara smelled the beautiful and attractive flowers. She could attract the minds and vision of both humans and demigods by her playful movements, her shyness and humility, her glances, the very pleasing sounds that poured from her mouth as she spoke, and the motion of her limbs. By all these qualities, she opened for Cupid, who bears an arrow of flowers, a path of oral reception into the minds of men. When she spoke, nectar seemed to flow from her mouth. As she breathed, the bees, mad for the taste of her breath, tried to hover about her beautiful lotus like eyes. Disturbed by the bees, she tried to move hastily, but as she raised her feet to walk quickly, her hair, the belt on her hips, and her breasts, which were like water jugs, also moved in a way that made her extremely beautiful and attractive. Indeed, she seemed to be making a path for the entrance of Cupid, who is most powerful. Therefore, the prince, completely subdued by seeing her, spoke to her as follows. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So this is great description given. Prabhupada writes, this description is like this is how the Cupid acts, like womanly gestures, attractiveness, shyness, everything combined, and then catches the opposite sex, right? And of course, this kind of description goes the other way as well, for both gender, right? It's just because the from the top perspective, like a highest, like a, not highest, but then from understanding perspective, male body is given because the person or the soul wants to enjoy with some intense desire, and generally that soul is like female in the previous life. Generally, sometimes it's like that. So now that he is in that body, but still that strong attraction is there for the women, and women is considered like energy, right? The fire. So the description is given, but it applies for both genders, male and female. So here, very nicely described. And of course, this may sound like a Bollywood, Hollywood movie, but that's not the purpose. The purpose is not that we are creating such movies. Rather, by doing by going through this such kind of description, we are purifying our senses. That this is given in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. is spoken by Sukadev Goswami and other sages. So that purificatory agent is there, that is Krishna is there, because it's coming out from the mouth of devotees. So then they will represent the same in proper way, even though from outside it may look like, oh, this is similar a description as we will watch in movies. Now Prabhupada writes, women an attractive creation. Movements, gestures, her hair, the structure of her breasts, hips, other bodily features attract men and demigods. Not only men of earthly planet, but including the demigods. So that's something we have to be always careful. So examples are, Agni got attracted to who? Satadruti, the ocean daughter marrying Prachina Bahari. You know that marriage ceremony, Vivaha Sanskar is going on. She is taking that going around circulation. Then Agni, because Agni is present, right? Fire is always there. Then also he got attracted to Shuki, the wife of Saptarshi, right? So that attracts this kind of feminine gestures. Captivated by material movements of women, he wants to remain in this material world. This is the conditioned soul. Of course, this applies to both sides. The sex drive is so strong in the living entities that the whole material world is running on sex attraction only. And it is due to sex attraction that one remains in the material world and is obliged to accept different types of bodies. So, and that's why Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita that yes, Kamoshmi, I am that sex life which is not contrary to religious principles. So when we are doing that union with the blessings of Guru, Vaishnavas, and the Parampara in proper mindset, the same union becomes purifying. We have Krishna conscious children. But otherwise, this is where it will lead us. That one remains in the material world, obliged to accept different types. One is attracted to women, in next life he will become a beautiful woman. And then he will get another attracted man. And then that cycle will go on in different species. And then Prabhupada writes, actually Lord Chaitanya has said, Lord Chaitanya forbids, Prabhupada writes in the purport, Lord Chaitanya forbids the association of men who are attached to women and opulence. Women and opulence, both things. Of course, when we have devotee women, that's a different story. If they are so devoted, if they are focusing on Krishna consciousness, they're very nice. Otherwise, for common men, like the general men, we may go to work, but we have that not attraction. Just, okay, they are there, we have to work, and that's about it. And we don't get attracted to opulence, because opulence without Krishna will bring all the other sense gratification. Money attracts honey, women and wine, and of course then slaughtering the animals. Okay, one who is serious about going back home, back to Godhead, should not contemplate the attractive features of women and opulence of rich men. This is what Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. So he went to different places, and during the hippie times, that 1960 when he went, sometimes the women, young women, will be there without clothes. And so many occasions, even that we read in Lilamrit, when he went to that manor, in UK, London, Yoko, they were having the big posters, like frames. We put a frame of Krishna, Radha, gopis, and other different pastimes. They put this kind of frames where the men and women having union. So we always careful. We want to go back home, back to Godhead. So we don't contemplate of this. Yes, we may come across, but then we just have to move on. We just have to move on, focusing on Krishna. Why I'm here? For what purpose? Okay, verse 7. Somebody can read, please.
Hare Krishna. Divya Desai Mataji, please read. After that, Sharmila Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Angidara and Purvachitti. The prince mistakenly addressed the Apsara, O best of saintly persons, who are you? Why are you in this hill? And what do you want to do? Are you one of the illusory potencies of Supreme Personality of Godhead? You seem to be carrying two bows without strings. What is the reason you carry these bows? Is it for some purpose of your own or for the sake of a friend? Perhaps you carry them to kill the mad animals in this forest. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Thank you. So, interestingly, now the talk is moving forward. Before he just heard, then he opened his eyes. Then he desired to speak. Now he is speaking. And now he is saying, okay, I'm getting afraid. Afraid of what? These two bowls are there. What are they? Before that, let us go back. Prabhupada writes, the prince mistakenly addressed the Apsara. If you see the verse, I was trying to find whether that mistake in Sanskrit is given. I couldn't find. But then from other perspective, even if we consider that Prabhupada writes mistakenly, if we consider that way that yes, it is mistake, then should we do that such mistake? Or should we learn from this mistake? When we are practicing, should we commit such mistake that we start admiring? Now he is admiring the beauty. Rather, we should admire the beauty of Radharani and Krishna and gopis and the devotees, their dealings. We should admire that way rather than a particular feature of a particular woman, regardless whether they are devotee or non-devotee. Even if they are visiting or serving devotee, just focus on the devotional aspect. Oh, they are doing nice dressing, very good. But then what dressing they are having, you don't want to go into that description. Should we practice? Okay. While doing the temple seva, many beautifully dressed women will come for visit and seva. So should we also make such mistakes? Right? Then Krishna writes, why? Because the intelligence goes away. We will go on that path because the intelligence, when one becomes too lusty, he loses the intelligence. And then intelligence, with that intelligence gone, that means he will not know how to behave, for what purpose he is there. He forgot that he was there to perform the austerity, and that purpose was to please Brahmaji in a better way, and not that side attraction this way. Two bows without the string, that means two beautiful eyebrows. So Agnidhara was accepting that he is about to be killed by those two beautiful eyebrows of Purvachitti. So he is accepting surrender. He is coming closer to the surrender. He is accepting that they are powerful. It's like more powerful than himself or his austerity, right? And then Prabhupada writes in the purport about the pramatta. Pramatta means the one who is mad, very grossly engaged in sense gratification. So who cannot control his senses, and that's what is becoming for Agnidra. And then Prabhupada quotes this Prahlad Maharaj. He has quoted like this, that my only concern is that these fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and sense gratification maintain their families, society, and in countries. So he was concerned for their deliverance. And that's why Prahlad Maharaj call them as pramatta. They are mad after sense gratification. They don't know what's the real purpose of life. And he considered that Hiranyakashipu, he was number one in that. He didn't consider that Lord Vishnu is the prime cause of all the causes. That is his Lord himself who gives all the opulences. He is a real Bhagavan, not him. Right? Okay, somebody write. Somebody read, please. This one, last one.
Hare Krishna, Sharmila Mataji.
Krishna. However, this one, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
However, one who is a pramatta, a sane, sober person, a dhira, knows very well that a human being's primary duty is to render service to the Supreme Person. Maya is always ready to kill those who are pramatta with her invisible bows and arrows. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, so better we become a sober person. Matta spasyastu kaunteya shitoshna sukhudupada. Before that, sober person, he does not lament for such a change, you know. So dehinashmin yatha dehe. So we become sober person. We become focused on Krishna. And for that, we have to hear about Krishna again and again. Okay, the last verse, and then only few things are there. Okay, somebody read, please. Translation.
Hare Krishna, Sharmila Mataji, please read.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Then Agnidra observed the glancing eyes of Purvachitti and said, "My dear friend, you have two very powerful arrows, namely your glancing eyes. Those arrows have feathers like the petals of a lotus flower. Although they have no shafts, they are very beautiful and they have very sharp piercing points. They appear very peaceful, and thus it seems that they will not be shot at anyone. You must be loitering in this forest to shoot those arrows at someone, but I cannot understand whom. My intelligence is dull, and I cannot combat you. Indeed, no one can equal you in prowess, and therefore I pray that your prowess will be for my good fortune." Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So very interestingly, now before he saw eyebrows, and now he is reaching to eyes. That these eyes are so powerful, so deep, so peaceful, that they appear very peaceful, very attractive. At the same time, they look like very sharp arrows, and you are going to pierce someone. But then he wanted to promote himself. He wanted to promote himself first. So he said, well, I can't find anyone. I don't know whom you are going to fight or release those against. I can't win. Certainly, if you are considering that you will use on me, no, I can't. I'm defeated. I don't have the strength. Rather, I submit myself to you, like humbly. So in that way, he's proposing himself that, okay, let's get married. You become my wife. I'm so attracted to you, you become. And then you become my good fortune. Wife is a good fortune for husband, right? Especially if they are devoted to Lord Vishnu. They are Krishna conscious. It's very good fortune. Then she becomes real Lakshmi, right? This is my good fortune, means becoming real Lakshmi. But of course, it's utilizing for a different purpose. So two very beautiful arrows, beautiful eyes, look. And then Agnidhara is approaching, he's approaching to submit himself to Purvachitti. I am surrendering to you against your powerful arrows. Let my submission be good fortune for me. So having discussed all this, now we are coming to the solution part. What should we do? I mean, we heard about Agnidhara's position, then where we are standing. While we are also practicing, what should we be cautious? Especially nowadays, because I think as movement is expanding, we have male and female both are serving so nicely together, especially in Western countries, right? So many times this situation, we have nice, beautiful places, and then we get the service where it's also solace, no one is around in afternoon service. So what should we do? Should we just hear this, oh, Agnidra did this, and that's it, like that? No, we should apply it for ourselves. I'm saying for myself as well. I should apply for myself as well. What are some of the solutions? I remember one thing when I was preparing the class, Ghungat system. I recall my mother doing this, especially in that village life, We are talking about this is about 90s, 1990, Gujarat, that like she was putting the gungat up to the chest, like the whole sari will go, especially in front of seniors like my grandfathers or very elderly people, like of the village. And when she goes out to fetch the water from the well, like which is far, then during the whole that going and coming back, she must have that ghungat or the sari covered face throughout the whole journey, Only when she is at home, she would remove. Just like we have this Muslim, they have burqa. That was for a purpose. Of course, nowadays it's misused and it's considered that women subduation or etc. The difference, but the purpose was this, that all this, the first is this glance, the glance. I mean, Lord created this whole universe, whole existence through glance, right? Through the glance, Mahavishnu glanced over this material energy, Maya, Devi, and this whole creation started. Through glance, everything happens, right? And through hearing, everything happens. So, of course, we can't implement that system. So, what do? We should avoid eye contacts as much as possible. As much as possible. No unnecessary talk. I attend this Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's Bhaktivedanta classes. He always mentions no unnecessary talk. Especially brahmacharis, they are taught like this. They can do the services. You can have other women in your team and you are doing services. That's great. But not unnecessary talk. Oh, where are you from? Oh, this and that. What's your background? This is how it starts. This is how it starts. If someone is getting interested in marrying, that's okay. Then you approach the senior person, have the proper discussion, find out a proper channel, and then, but not this way, not this way. So as far as possible, avoid private conversations. Like example, like 3 p.m. in the temple, no one is here. You go, you are there, Mataji is there doing her service, or 9 p.m. service, 10 p.m. service, like I do the service, Sayan Seva. And then Mataji are, they may feel like, oh, why this Prabhu is not talking? You may say Hare Krishna, that's about it. You don't have to get involved. When it's public, it's different story. When it's public, it's different story. When you are with your wife, they're discussing. We are not hard-hearted. Rather, we are not too much soft-hearted as well. We want to balance so that both sides go on nicely. Otherwise, we will see them as a sense object and things will go bad for us. So that is one point. And the second point is this one. We have to call them with this deep respect in our heart as Mata, address them Mataji or Mata. Sometimes they may feel offended, but what to do? If they get offended, nowadays is some other system is also going on. We call it Prabhu, even female Vaishnavis, etc. So that's good as well. But at least deep within our heart, if they get offended, you may say what they want you to say, but deep within you respect them as respectfully as Mata, right? So then less chances. And that is with this deep respect, not just like it's just Mataji. She's less, as if like less intelligent or not understanding. That's not good as well, because that feeling will bring us to the next body, right? out of great respect, because ultimately they are also part and parcel. And of course, this goes both ways. Surrender to Guru and Krishna. We want to surrender to Guru and Krishna. And that's what Krishna says. The divine energy of mind, consisting the three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. But who has taken shelter at me, on my lotus feet, onto me, can easily cross beyond it. Deveshe Gunimai Mamu Maya Durata Mameva Prapadante Maya Meta Tarantite. Bhagavad Gita 7.14. So with that, we have come to the conclusion. We went 8 minutes over time, but what to do? I had 4 verses to cover nicely. So I leave it to you if any questions or comments.
Hare
Or is
Krishna, wonderful, wonderful explanation, Prabhu. Very nicely brought forth the point, Prabhu. So necessary for all of us. Sumangala Mataji has a question.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandat pranams. Wonderful class, Prabhuji. So many takeaway points, and the practical implication is lot we can imply, Prabhuji, from this class. Prabhuji, my question is that, Prabhuji, when I read the purport of Bhagavad Gita 2.62, when you said in the class, like even the demigods are attracted to women, features of women. So, with respect to that, in that purport, Prabhupada has written like even the other demigods like Brahma and Shiva, and what to speak of others. When Parvati agitated Lord Shiva, he had to agree to the proposal, and then Kartikeya was born. It has been written like that, Prabhuji. So, and but in the other case of Haridas Thakur, Maya Devi herself comes, and she gets defeated. So I just wanted to know, first of all, we say that Shiva is the Lord and the Vaishnava, the greatest of Vaishnavas, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambho. And is it like with this difference, if we take it in a wrong way, will it not be like an offense? That is one thing. And I just want to know, Prabhuji, how to understand Prabhuji in the terms of Shiva, in terms of demigod, and he's a bhakta also. All of the demigods are devotees of the Lord only. So, is it that the devotees are far greater than the demigods? I just wanted to know, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. And I have other clarifications also, Prabhuji, with this. Kindly, I would like to hear from you, Prabhuji. Get the solution.
Okay, thank you, Mataji, for your nice, thoughtful question. Even I considered so as well, but then I thought, yeah, it's little tricky to understand. That's why I didn't go on giving that example of Brahmaji and Lord Shiva when I put those two other examples. So yes, see if you see the overall gist of this purport is it's mainly talking about the demigod perspective, to say nothing for other demigods. So from of course Lord Shiva is not like demigod as such, like in that realm. Rather, he is in between. He is like higher than demigods, but at the same time he is not Lord Vishnu. So he is in between. He's above all, certainly all about all the demigods, and Mahadev, right, from the other perspective. So from that perspective, if we take that angle, then yes, that makes sense that even the demigods, including him, gets affected. And for that matter, this applies to all the living, all the conditioned souls, even as a Vaishnavas. Of course, we give the example of Haridas Thakur, but then there are so many other good Vaishnavas, the devotees. Sometimes, like we see Kala Krishna Das or some other who were very close associates of Lord Chaitanya, they got, and then for that matter, even Prabhupada's many disciples, they become so big sannyasis, and then later on. So from that perspective, this can happen to anyone, in this material world, because that's the nature we are coming with. We want to enjoy separately with Krishna. And what is that enjoyment? separately from Krishna, that is sense gratification, especially opposite sex. So that's the highest level of sense gratification, opposite sex. That's the highest level of sense gratification. That's what we are hankering, that conditioned soul. But if we see from Lord Shiva's other perspective, like as a Vaishnava, so then Parvati is also like Vaishnava from that perspective, because she is. So from that perspective, Lord Shiva's like from her, like submitted himself. So in a one way, because he is still husband, and then Parvati agitated, just like that example of Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu's father, Kashyapa, right? So Diti and Aditi. So Diti, she approached Kashyapa and then said, "Oh, I want union, I want sons now." He said, "No, it's not right time." Then he said, "Okay." But then she forced, and then she said, "Okay, no problem. But I remind you that your sons will become big demon, because that is not appropriate time. They will become like this." And then she pleaded, "Okay, they will be killed by Lord." So from that perspective, we can say that he submitted. Whereas if we see the example of Haridas Thakur, the Haridas Thakur's, again, this is coming in Kali Yuga, right? And now this is Lord Chaitanya's time. Lord Chaitanya appeared, I mean, just in the beginning of beginning of Kali Yuga, to inaugurate Hare Krishna or chanting or Sankirtan movement. So Haridas Thakur is showing the strength of Sankirtan or chanting Japa or chanting Hare Krishna. By his own strength, he may consider that I may fall, but he was focusing on chanting Hare Krishna. That was his strength all the time. So especially for Kali Yuga, he showed that this is the way. In the past, so many things would have happened. All these big people would have fallen. But if someone sticks to the chanting Hare Krishna, even in Kali Yuga, following Lord Chaitanya's order, he will be saved. Even if Mayadevi personally comes in this form of alluring in that way, he will be saved. So that's the example he's giving. That's what I understand from that perspective. And that's why Prabhupada writes that because of his unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna, right? In Kali Yuga, especially in Kali Yuga. So this is how, it's nothing wrong with Lord Shiva. From that perspective, he is still the greatest Vaishnava. But at the same time, Vaishnava may have displayed this other side, that even if you become topmost Vaishnava, there is always a chance that you may fall down. And that's what he displayed after that for that Mohini. Acharya says that he became more agitated, forget about Parvati from this perspective. When Mohini Murti form, like Krishna, he appeared in that form. Then after that, he had the pastime, then he requested, "My Lord, you please be appear in this form again," because when the Samudra Manthan was going on, he was not there. But then he heard about, oh, Lord appeared like this. So then he wanted to have darshan of that form. So then Lord said, "Yes, Tathastu." And all of a sudden, when they were there together, Parvati was there and Lord Shiva was there in front of others, his assembly, he ran after this beautiful woman who he was so agitated. Then he had that discharge as well. And then some I have read, maybe I will share the reference. Some acharyas, they say he went to different places to show that who is more powerful. Lord is more powerful in all the different features, whether it's a Mohini, like a male form, or the supremely attractive Mohini form. He is the supreme master. I am his servant. I am his servant. I am get attracted to him and her. That is my attraction. Of course, it's a positive way. So, yeah, the whole point is, regardless who have done what in the past, we take both as a positive example and we stick to this process and we become successful in conquering over Maya. That's my understanding, Mataji, for this.
Yes, Prabhuji, very helpful. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And one more thing which you mentioned in your notes, Prabhuji, like the Matajis and when we get dressed for the temple, and we should follow that it should not be, because some people I have heard saying that whatever God has given us, we should dress up well and go to the temple. So is it like that? Or we should be very simple? I don't like you mentioned when women also will be going to the temple and
Yeah,
Prabhus
so
will also
okay.
be there. So
Okay,
about that, Prabhuji.
let me share. Yeah, let me share that. So I said Mataji or women also they come in a beautifully dressed. So it's not that I'm saying that they shouldn't dress well. It's their business. How they want to dress is their business. It is about us, like the opposite sex. Like for a male purpose as well. Like if someone handsome boy comes, then like how I should react, right? Even if they are dressing nicely, modestly, that's up to them. They understand their realization. The lust is in the person who is looking. Like, like here we see the Agnidra. He is saying this way. He is saying that as a sense object. The problem is in my consciousness, individual's consciousness, right? Of course, the other side is we try to minimize. We don't expose. That's another side as well. That's why we say, oh, you call Mataji. That means then they will behave as Mataji as well. Like they will behave as motherly as well. Like from that perspective, they will not expose themselves unnecessary at all, right? So they may dress nicely, like beautiful sari. That's fine. They are doing it for Krishna. That's good. But then if it becomes like exposure to attract men, then it's a different story. Then it's a different story. And from other side also, man has to be careful that if someone is dressing like this, then I should be careful. I don't get attracted, right? So both ways. It's not that I'm saying don't dress like this. Rather, just be mindful. Yeah.
And yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
And
so much.
certainly, I'm not saying that Gungat I just mentioned. Certainly, I'm not saying, and I mentioned as well that it's not possible in nowadays. It's not possible to implement. So, like we can't do that. It just that parda is in consciousness. We have to put that in consciousness. Like my Gurudev, he said so many times, like, always be careful, because we are just practicing. We are just practicing, and so many times it has happened. Like sometimes okay. Very quickly, those who need to go, feel free to leave as well. That's fine. It's no offense. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So, from other perspective, what I was saying is, what I was saying.
About that Gongat only, Prabhuji, that no, you're.
Oh yeah, my spiritual master, he says, like, be always very careful. And nowadays we see sometimes it happens that, like, if we are going through that, a marriage, like both husband and wife married, maybe they are also devotee, but then sometimes some difference of opinion, some things are going on, and then they are having some tough time with each other, and in between they go to temple, they come across this other Mataji or other Prabhu, and then interaction happen, then they will start feeling, oh, look, she is so nice than my wife, like, look, she is better than my wife, or he is better than my husband. And then there you go, that's little bit starts going further, then exchange will happen. And then it has happened. Many places it does happen, even within our community. And then young boys, girls are there doing the temple services. So all these things we have to be careful. And we can't demand someone to do something for us. We can't say tomorrow, we can't put a resolution that all the Matajis should wear simple sari, don't go to Vrindavan, Mayapur, buy a nice, beautiful sari, or gents, nice, beautiful, attractive, what do you call, silk, dhoti, kurta. We can't. It's in your hand, your eyes, how you look, for what purpose you look them. My spiritual master even say for my wife, like that don't look your wife as a sex machine. Like this, maybe 10 years, this must be, like I was very new, 2013, 14, something like that. At that time, I didn't understand what he's saying, like you are just new. Like, how come? I'm not saying that way, but how come he's saying? But now over the period, I understand. What does it mean? That no, women are not for our sense gratification. Having a wife relationship is a different story. Husband-wife relationship. If someone is aspiring to get married, that's a different story as well. Then they should approach a proper channel, parents, and then if it is congregation, within congregation, that proper management, etc. That's a different story. But someone just goes for that behind the scene, behind the relationship, then it's a big problem. Then we are losing the focus of our yoga practice, the goal of our yoga, bhakti yoga. It's very hard, to be honest. This is very hard, but we have to do it. Chanting, focusing on Krishna is nice. I mean, like generally when we go to temple, women will say, "Oh, Prabhuji, nice, you are here, very nice." And then they will be doing the services, and then it's like, wow, so nice, pleasing the voice. And then gradually it increases more and more. But then that formality is there, some distance, some formal, no eye to eye contact, then it's fine. It's better that way. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, Prabhuji, very much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Prabhuji, for the wonderful takeaway point for me. The devotee senses are purified, whereas the others are being controlled, and it was such a nice point, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
I will start it and meditate
Thank you.
upon. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare.
Dandavata.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can
Yes,
I add
ma'am.
something to that, Prabhuji? Because what I understand is,
Yeah.
normally when we go to a temple, we have to go simple. But if there's a festival, some celebration, like Gaura Purnima or some, a big festival, then you can dress nicely and go. Not that you should not dress nicely, but your main objective is to go to temple to worship. So don't identify too much. Just remain simple. Go simple.
Yes, thank you for sharing further on this one. I mean, see, we want to encourage, we want to encourage everyone. So if the girls, especially the young girls, if you say, okay, simple sari or simple gopi dress, they are not going to like it from that perspective. Because sometimes it's just, we are all going through that phase of, realizations. Like Prabhupada, I remember he was talking about Yamuna, Mother Yamuna, right? Mother Yamuna was wearing the simple white sari, right? And the Prabhupada told her as well, wear the white sari. And she was so beautiful. I mean, even in the later age, she was looking so beautiful. Consider that time. Even this Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj, he was so handsome. Prabhupada said, oh, you put on some weight now. You drink Charnamrit and then you put on. He was so handsome, right? Like tall, handsome brahmachari, right? So, of course, simple sari will help, but not necessary for everyone in the sense they may not feel comfortable.
Not for the younger generation, Prabhu,
Yeah.
that you can't help, they want to dress nicely.
Yeah.
I'm just
So,
talking other than that.
yeah. that's a description of everyone. Rather, what like my takeaway is from learning throughout this, even this episode, and also ultimately it comes down to us, like what I want to do, how I want to see.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I can't control if women are wearing the simple sari, but what if my mind is also from that perspective that I like simple, living. I think, oh, this is nice. She is simple, very nice. This is like, she is like my, my picture, the best picture. So it's ultimately up to us what we want out of this Bhakti Yoga. Thank you. I consider it's time. It's 4:30. I have to join back my work. Thank you so much for providing
Thank
this
you, Prabhuji.
opportunity.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Kripa
sindhubhyascha
sindhubhya
vaichanam
पतितानां
pavanebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो
Ananta Koti
अनंतकोटि
Vaishnava
वैष्णव
Ki
की
Jai,
जय
Srila
श्रील
Prabhupada
प्रभुपाद
Ki
की
Jai,
जय
Granthanath Srimad
भागवतम की
Bhagavatam Ki
जय
Jai. Hare
थैंक यू प्रभु
Krishna.
जी
Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्णा
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Can I
Krishna.
end the
Priya
class, Prabhu?
Bhakta Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu. Can I
Krishna.
end the class? Hare Krishna to